Is this all there is? One morning, while making tea as I had done thousands of times before, I found myself standing in the quiet of my kitchen, watching the steam rise from the kettle and suddenly becoming aware of how quickly life had passed. The years of raising children, caring for others, meeting responsibilities, solving problems, and moving from one day to the next had slipped by almost unnoticed. The seasons had changed, the children had grown, the mirror had changed, and the life had continued moving forward with its usual certainty. I wasn't unhappy, and I certainly wasn't ungrateful. But for the first time in a long while, I felt a pause, a moment of stillness. And in that stillness came a realization that I think many women eventually experience. For years, our attention belongs to everyone else. We care for our families, worry about our children, remember birthdays, solve problems, and hold things together when no one else even notices they are falling apart. We do it willingly and often with love, but somewhere along the way, pieces of ourselves get replaced. We put them on a shelf for later, a dream, an interest, a curiosity, a part of ourself that once felt fully alive. Then one day, life becomes a little quieter. At first, the quiet feels unfamiliar, but slowly it begins to create something precious: space. Space to breathe, space to reflect, space to notice the things that still call to us. A book waiting to be opened, a skill waiting to be learned, a path waiting to be explored. The truth is that life never stops inviting us to grow. There are still new things to learn, new experiences to embrace, and new parts of ourselves waiting to be discovered. Maybe this is the season to take the class you've always thought about, to learn a skill simply because it interests you, to begin yoga, to write, to paint, to travel, or perhaps simply to give yourself permission to become a beginner again. We often believe we need confidence before we begin, but children teach us something entirely different. They begin before they are ready. They draw badly, sing off key, fall down, make mistakes, and somehow none of it stops them. They are not concerned with being good. They are busy being curious. Perhaps that is the lesson life offers us after 50. Not perfection, not certainty, not having everything figured out, just enough curiosity to take that first step. Because this stage of life is not a closing chapter, it is a season of becoming, a season of returning to yourself and discovering that there are still dreams waiting patiently inside you, still gifts to uncover, and roads you have not walked. Many of life's deepest answers do not arrive through thinking harder. They arrive through stillness, through prayer, through a quiet walk, through a moment when the noise settles and we can finally hear our own hearts again. And sometimes they arrive through a single conscious breath. It's where I began. A few moments ago, I shared 3 simple breathing practices on this channel. Not because breathing solves every problem, but because when the mind becomes calmer, we begin to hear ourselves more clearly. And sometimes that is where everything changes. If your heart feels restless, perhaps start there. I'll meet you there.